Welcome. In this video, I am going to show you that we can assign 4 different delegate types to the built-in event handlers. Because these delegate types can also be written in different ways, this video is also going a bit into the workings of C#. We go to the index page. First, I create 4 buttons to symbolize the 4 different delegate types. So we start out with an action. I call the button invoke action. An action is a method that has no input parameter and that returns void, so it doesn't return anything. In here, I just make 2 brackets. So here, in here I could make an assignment or whatever. So if you're new to C#, you may be a bit it may be a bit new to you because we have different ways in which we can write actions. We could also define a normal method here, public void, and then assign this action up here. Now, that's not all what we can do. We also have other possibilities. We could also invoke it in this lambda here. So you see, we have different ways of writing an action. An action can be written through an anonymous method, which is made in a lambda here, or it can also be by assigning a method. Now, if we have a method that still returns void, but that takes an integer like that, we also have to call it like that, and then we can pass the arguments here. If we have a method that takes an input parameter, we have to write it like that. So the second overload for the event handlers is function of, no, not function, is action of t invoking. So what's an action of t? An action of t is a method that has an input argument, an input parameter of this type t. So t is a generic type parameter, and that still returns nothing. Now you may ask, where is this t coming from? Who can say what's the type of this t? We can't do that. That's Blazor who's doing that. Who's doing this for us. I call it mouse args. And now in here, I can again do what I want. With the arguments, I think it's of type, yeah, you have to explicitly cause it to an int. So this is just showing you that we can utilize the type parameters that Blazor gives us if you want to have information about them. Yes, that's that. And of course, they are different for the different events. So now we have mouse event args. It also has keyboard event args if you have different events. So yes. Now the third type of method has to do with asynchronous programming, and it's a function of task. Now, what's a function of task? That's a method that just returns a task. How can we return a task? We can either do that asynchronously. No. Task delay. So in here we are just waiting 1 second, but it's asynchronous, so we won't block a thread. There is also another way in which we can return a task. And I know this now has nothing to do with Blazor, that's just C# by calling task run. And task run has also overloads. One of them expects an action. And now here we can say thread sleep 1 second. So how does this differ from this? Here we don't use a new thread, so it's it's on the same thread. And here we are using a new thread because task.run creates a new thread, and this thread will execute the thing in here. So we will block a thread for 1 second. As you might guess, that's not a good way. So it's just for learning purposes. Now the last overload is of type function t task. So what can we do here? Again, I'm giving it the async keyword, which everything that comes in a method that's marked async is wrapped to a task or a task of t. Now, here again, I'm using the mouse event args. And then here I can do the same things which I've done here. So maybe it's a bit overwhelming. Maybe it's not too clear, the whole thing here. To take away, I would especially this first section here, just for the people that are new to C#. For the other ones, it's clear anyways. But we have different ways in which we can write an action, and in many of the tutorials in Blazor, you will see the different ways. So just be prepared for that. Thank you for your attention.